My name is Lauren Sammartano, taking Applied Ethics, Section 2157. I will be answering question 2, option A. So the first part of this question is the story of Gyges. So Gyges is a shepherd who is given a magical ring with the power to be invisible whenever he so chooses. With this, he can be as greedy and malicious as he wants and never have to worry about being caught. So in his story, he ultimately kills the king, has a relationship with his widow, and then Gyges becomes king himself. This story raises an ethical question for all people of if we were given the same ring and the same powers, would we do the same exact thing Gyges did? In other words, if you were given this power, would you choose to get everything you could ever want, but be evil, or you can continue to have the life you have, but continue to be kind and fair? The next part of this question is the Plato analogies. So the Plato analogies represent an individual soul and how we obtain inner happiness and inner justice. So the first analogy is that of the charioteer. With this, Plato tells us to picture a Roman warrior on a chariot with 2 horses. One horse is very strong and proud and also ambitious, but he wants to make sure he is making his master happy. This horse is called Spirit by Plato. The other horse, however, is disobedient of his master and does what he wants. If the master tells him to go left, he will most likely go right. This one is called Desire. Plato says spirit represents our good virtues and desire represents our wants and passions. This ultimately leaves the charioteer to keep both of them in control. The charioteer represents our reason. So for an individual, spirit is our loyalty, our prideness, and our ability to just be virtuous, whereas desire is our wants and passions. But with this, we have to keep desire on a tight rein because too much of each causes an imbalanced soul. So that's where reason comes in. Reason is there to keep both of these in balance and keep us as a balanced soul in order for us to obtain our inner happiness. The next analogy is that of the man, beast, lion conglomerate. So Plato tells us to picture this as a man, lion, and beast all wrapped up into one. In this analogy, all 3 are seen as at a constant battle with each other. The man represents the reason, the lion represents the spirit, and the beast represents our desire. So in this one, the man has to tame the lion, and then they work together to keep the beast in check. So for an individual, speaking in our terms, our reason would have to work to lessen our spirit. In other words, we would have to tame our pride and our loyalty in order to work with our reason to keep our desires in check. We cannot have it the other way, or else we cannot obtain inner justice. In this analogy, Plato says the human rationale should be king in order to keep inner justice at bay. So, comparing Plato to Ayn Rand's idea of ethical egoism, Plato would disagree with her. Ayn Rand supports ethical egoism, which means she believes that we are allowed to be selfish and that is virtuous, and altruism overall is personal, like suicide. So this means that she thinks a person should be able to get whatever they want, no matter what it does to others or how it affects others. Plato would disagree with this in the analogy of the charioteer. Ethical egoism would mean that a person's desires is in full control and gives no leeway to spirit or reason. Plato's analogy would say that this creates an imbalanced soul. So overall, Plato would argue with her that if a person's soul is imbalanced, there is no way they can have inner happiness, while Ayn Rand says that being selfish for our own wants and needs makes us happy. But overall, everything we have, no matter how much it is, if we obtain it through having too much desire and no spirit, no reason, we have an imbalanced soul, and according to Plato, you cannot have inner happiness without having a balanced soul. Thank you for watching.